advocates for the welfare of the doctors in the country. We have about 80% representations of the doctors in the public sector and 20% reach in the private sector. But we are working out to ensure that every doctor in the country is actually represented in the union, and they have a voice, and they can actually advocate, we can actually speak on their issues. The union advocates for welfare of the doctors, that they have a fair remuneration, a decent work, and they're able to actually be able to afford the life that they're having, and they're able to deliver the services that they need to deliver in the hospital. They're well supported. In essence, we advocate for access to healthcare, and this is to touch the public. It's for the public to be able to get the services. So our work in the process of advocating for welfare of the doctors is to ensure the public get the services for the doctors. Yes.
All right. That sounds good. Now, we've talked with the representatives of different groups of young doctors, to be specific. So there are those who have just finished college and they're waiting to be posted to internship. There are those who are already in internship and they're saying they have worked for close to 5 months, but they have not been paid. And the other ones who are waiting, I say they have waited for more than 5 months now. They have not been posted. As the union, anything of concern for these groups are?
You know, we've had a syndrome of delayed posting of medical interns and the delayed payments. It's a syndrome that has been there for a while. Until 2020, we had a policy that then was giving a framework of engaging with the interns. We also have a collective bargaining agreement that was to sort out a posting whereby 30 days after oathing, the doctors ought to be posted for internship. So it's a syndrome that I believe and I hope that the new CS, the new CS on Kumita should be the antidote for it. But then when it fails, we may need to have a different action. But I believe that this government need to solve this syndrome that has been in existence, where every interns every year have to be on the streets to be posted. They have to be on the street to be paid. They have to be on the street to be employed. So, and yet, in all essence, you are doing all this to offer services to the Kenyans. So it means like going to medical school is an imprisonment. It's a badge that you must be on the streets. You must just strike. You must just force things to be done to you. That is the scenario that we're having, and it's quite rampant right now, and has been there. So we are hoping that through this process that we keep on pushing, this can change. It is a frustration that you go to medical school, you take 6 years, and some take 10, 11 years. You then have to stay at home with your parents for 1 year before you're posted. Then you stay for almost a year borrowing money to survive, while in essence offer services. That's what we have gathered today to discuss and say no to that. And we say it must stop. And it must stop now. Yes.
So there's another group of the unemployed doctors, like they finished internship, but the representatives have said 1, 2, 3 years without reasonable jobs.
Essentially, brother, Kenya has a very big shortage of healthcare workers. The ratio of the doctor to the patient is 1 to 17,000 against the backdrop of 1 to 1,000 as per the WHO recommendation. It means that it will take the country 50 years to reach the ratio that is needed. And that 50 years, it should only take if it employs all the doctors that graduate in this country and those that graduate outside the country and come back. But with the, I'll call it like a lackadaisical approach that the government has, where they do not really prioritize healthcare because they don't consume it and therefore they don't employ healthcare workers, we see a total dysfunctional public healthcare. Because we cannot say we have a public healthcare which need to get the rights of healthcare of the Kenyans without the doctors. So as of now, we have about an estimate of about 4,000 doctors. That one, if I say for those who left the country, maybe those who also got opportunities in the private sector. So it will come to about 2,500 to thereabout who are unemployed. These doctors are unemployed, yet we have the most severe shortages in these facilities. If you go to the county hospitals, you don't get any services. If you go to all these referral hospitals, there are no services. But counties can't employ. So that's why we are saying a time has come where we should not have unemployed doctors when there's shortage that are needed. It's like you have you are angry and you don't need food and you have bread that you can't eat. That's what the government is showing us here. The government, people are starving. People are starving, but there's food on the table. There is no health care, but there should, and there's shortage in public sector, yet we have the doctors that need to be employed. Yes.
Yeah. So in brief, so what is the way forward currently, having the interns who are not paid, those who are not posted, and then employed doctors? What is the way forward from the KMPDU standpoint?
Our discussions, we had what's called MFAHAMU declarations. And MFAHAMU declarations means that we want every facility in the country to have the right number of staff, the right number of doctors. It means they have to employ. We want investment in healthcare. We want the government to invest in healthcare. We want to have a universal health service commission that will ensure that government actually budgets and puts enough money that is meant for healthcare that also will result into annual recruitment of the healthcare workers. We are also demanding that within the internship policy, the interns must be posted within time as per the agreed CBAs and also remunerated in time. Otherwise, the inefficiency, the administrative problems that are there in the government need to be sorted out for that, because it's their failure if those things don't happen. But I still have some hope, because we have, this year, we have, as doctors, we definitely are going to go on strike. I must have been threatening a lot, but we are going to take actions. We're going to take actions when collective bargaining agreement of 2017-2021 is not implemented, when the collective bargaining agreement of 2021-2025 is not sorted out, when these issues that we have been discussing are still continuing, where we have hospitals are neglecting the Kenyans. And they're neglecting Kenyans because they have doctors, and the doctors are not supported with the drugs, or supported with the equipment to offer the quality services to the Kenyans. So we believe that implementing of these CBAs, negotiating of the new CBAs, and investing in healthcare is a solution to the problem that we are having. And that's the declaration today we've had in Fungamano.
Including a health service commission.
A health service commission. We believe health service commissions will delink this issue of healthcare from the counties, and therefore there will be enough budgeting for it. Current budget for counties is only 380 billion. It means that the counties will not employ anytime soon. Yeah. It means that we don't have healthcare workers as expected. You look at the budget for education is 550, meaning they are able to employ, they're able to promote, they're able to have more of the healthcare of the teachers, unlike healthcare.
As the last word, you know, the people might not really understand why you keep pushing. People think that doctors are just pushing for their welfare. But please face the camera and speak to the people why it is important for hospitals to be well staffed as we finish.
The reality is that when the union demands for a doctor to be employed, the first thing that happens to the public is that when you go to the hospital, you will not wait for 12 hours. You will not wait for 24 hours to be treated. You will be treated on time. When the doctors are demanding for the CBAs, it means they're demanding for drugs in that hospital. They're demanding for labs in those hospitals. It means if you go to a public hospitals, you get to be treated. You get to see a doctor, you get to see the lab, you get to have the drugs.